Welcome. We're getting very close to entering Pisces season, so we do know that the swords are about to meet the cups. And last time we met up, we spoke specifically about the masculine and what's happening with the masculine, what's happening with the energy, and that we honor, we have as feminine, we have masculine within us, and as masculine, we have feminine within us. Connection to inner child, expanding with source energy, Mother Earth, the elements. We all come together with, the forces of creation. We know that we have been creating this bridge. And when night turns to day, we meet up at this bridge. And this has to do with, with the connection with picking the right cup. And when we just got to speak about what the masculine's been working on, the energy has been picking the right cup, going from lust to love. Now, this is why we need this to happen. This is very important. Because when the masculine picks the right cup, the energy, they see reflected back within that cup the feminine. This is the connection, their connection to expanding their soul with spirit here, their inner child, their path, source energy, the divine God, whatever that is for you, here on the earth with our missions. But this is what is the key to it all. The reflection is truly of himself, the energy. The energy is being reflected into this cup, and the energy is being seen, reflected back through this cup. And this is literally the connection to the feminine, is the connection to self. So we need to see ourselves within this cup in order to see the connection to our counterpart, which is the feminine, which is the matter, literally the matter, in order to expand it. And that's where we're seeing our connection to the matter within this cup in order to expand it. This is happening in Pisces season. It's picking the right cup. And that's why we need to give time. Literally, the masculine needs time. The energy needs time in order to see what needs to be seen. Because this is about expanding with the sun. We know the central sun. Expanding with the energy. Expanding with self. Now, here's the sun within this tarot. Perfect representation. I don't want it to be blurry or glary. Here we go. Glary, I'm making up a new word. And this is literally it, where the sun and moon are connected. We need to look into self. The moon, the feminine, is calling us to play our authentic tune. But we know when we're walking the path of the moon, when we fall off, I'm sure you've fallen off. We want to stay on that path, right? That's the path of expansion. But we know the moon is connected to the sun. And literally, this is it. The energy. We need to expand with the energy. We need to expand from within to without. And what we're integrating, literally, we're in a time of integration, is of the dream. But this is the thing. The energy needs to slow down. Because remember, the energy's been lost. We have to get back to our integrity. Because this is where we go to the right cup. We're not drinking from this cup anymore. And remember, we talked about we go within. on our last few readings. Those will be linked down below if you haven't checked those out yet. But that's where we're finding the strength to do so, to go within and to become friends with this part of ourselves and expand and do what we need to do. And that has to do with our spiritual discipline. That has to do with healing from patterns of separation and addiction and what's not of our greatest good. What's not patterns of integrity, okay? And that's why we're putting down this cup. The energy is putting down the cup. It's seeing what it's need to see. So as we integrate and slow down with the energy, we're healing from conditioning. That's why this work is so important. And that's these serpents. Remember, this was spectacular when on the message specifically for divine masculine. Within the activation we got for this card was the two serpents coming together, kissing, and how our mouths, like what comes out of them is not just for nourishment, but for our truth. It's literally sacred. And the North Star. There were so many connections. It was just lit. Now, it's so important for us to see what we need to see within this cup, because we're healing from conditioning, suppression, fighting, and laziness. And right now we're doing this alone. We're doing this work alone. So even if you're not in separation, you're being called, still being put in spaces and places to see you need to do this with your cup, But this is going to be how the connection expands. There's a healing here. There's a healing, there's an understanding, and an expansion with receptivity. We're going to get a download here. We're going to understand this. We're going to understand why the energy has to shift from cup to cup. And it's through the nourishment that our mouth offers us with our truth and literally what we put within it. And we know it's connected to these two serpents and the North Star. And when night turns to day. And we know it's turning to day because we got the activation of the central sun. And this is when the sun enters Pisces. So, and literally what's happening if you are in separation is the feminine is working on expanding with spirit, the matter. We're in the Garden of Venus here, the Garden of Love in the Nine of Pentacles. And you can see up here on this side, it's night. This is our connection to remember, it's still night. Right now it's still night, but we know it will turn to day. The masculine is in this tower way up here, and they're connecting to this eagle and expanding with spirit, while the feminine connects to this dove and expands with spirit. This has to do with turning sadness into happiness. This has to do with the growth of self and being able to look within that cup and see our self being reflected back to us. And through our self being reflected back to us, we see our counterpart being reflected back to us. And then we see everything else being reflected back to us, of everything, of all of life, and how, you know, the fabric of creation comes together. But we're switching cups, and it has to do with what we saw here. And it was the magic of us, literally. So let's get this activation. Now, this activation has to do with purple hearts and a vision that I'm going to share. And it's going to be linked down below, and it's also going to be called vision of some sort. It's connected to this on the channel here. And we're honoring the connection through purple heart and what that means. This has to do with the crown chakra activation, and that's what's happening within this cup with these two serpents that come together. When each counterpart uses the energy, right, the masculine, to look within the cup and see what's reflected back to them, and what they see they see themselves in their counterpart and their counterpart in themselves. There's some sort of connection here, but then there's the connection to, you know, the divine, the unknown, their quest. And they literally, it's like, can like kiss their counterpart within them, have some sort of sharing of some sort of love within. This isn't happening without, this is happening within. And there is an activation from, you know, the Earth star to the soul star, and the soul star to the Earth star. But we're laser focusing on the root, from the root to the crown, and the crown to the root. And then there's an activation through the center point for all of those of you that are following along with this reading, because wow. Okay, there's going to be another reading that's going to break this all down. We're going to have all the cards on the table. We're going to break this all down even further, and we're just going to talk about the cards, and we're just going to have, for if you feel called to really see what's happening here, and work on that next. All right, so the activation of us, the magic of us. Remember, and we have our sword. We've restored confidence in our magic, and we know we're working with the power of purpose. This means to just put everything down. We're just laser focusing. We're just laser focusing on our magic and our confidence with our sword and what we are creating, right? But here we're acting on it. We're acting on it. We're going to hit that bullseye, but we have to laser focus. The power of purpose. This is coming from, remember, when the swords meet the cups. When our thoughts are in alignment with our heart, brain and heart coherence, to expand, to heal through the center point. Too many cards. Don't feel it. All right. There it is. Remember, this is literally the key. This is also connected to the next message when we break everything down, because the Hierophant is here. And right now, that's connected to creating with the inner child. Into me, I see. We're going to get further into this. Solitude, alone but not lonely. It's more confirmation of what we're doing here in the Garden of Venus. We are expanding love in the Garden of Venus. But as you see, at nighttime, we're working separately. In day, I think we're meeting up on that bridge. All right, let's share this message, and then the next time that we meet up, we will break it all down. Look at this, Vertigo. Whatever you choose will be correct, because we're looking within. Look, into me, I see. Into me. Into me. I see a wish I made upon a star, and this wish is part of us. It's love. A wish I made upon a star. But it's connected to me. Within. To my cup. And I did have just a representation of the one cup here that I would have liked to. Oh, or you use the Queen of Cups. Because we are seeing the matter and how we're expanding it. And this is, we know, this is the love frequency. Okay? It's actually a frequency to this. Where did I go? right here. Solitude, alone but not lonely. Introspection is the key now. Take time away from others. The answers are within you. Explore the concepts of self-nurture, self-value, self-truth. Are you treating yourself gently? Or are you rough and impatient with yourself? Solitude isn't loneliness. It's an opportunity to pause and allow the entire serene universe to wrap its arms around you. It's when you have the space to be hugged by life. The butterfly kisses the maiden's shoulder, a tender reminder that after a period of darkness, a cocooning of the senses, a glorious winged creature emerges from the chrysalis and is free to explore the delight in herself and others. A new leaf shoots from her thumb. In yoga, a thumb represents fire and universal consciousness. From periods of quiet solitude, fresh inspiration and motivation can emerge. And this is big because the rest of this message was here, and I just wasn't called to share the whole entire thing. We are going to talk about the moon in the Patch Tarot, and how it's about connected to introspection. That's what we need to do right now. So we are being called to go within. And because this is connected to love and this heart, I want to see what pattern we are creating with the Native Heart Healing Oracle. What pattern are we creating right now? Because we're coming together with those two cups on this bridge of the land of the in-between. Guys, thanks for bearing with me. I am doing work to get ready for my 21 days of no caffeine, no plant medicines, and healing from stimulus. Certain kinds of stimulus. And I've been called to like taper off eating and just do intermediate fasting for a little bit here. And this... my words are not connected yet. I don't know. It's my mouth. Okay. We need to focus. And we're going to focus on us, our blueprint. And it has to do with the 4 directions coming together through the center point. Remember, we're changing direction. We're changing direction. Look at that. And there it is. And it's connected to the sacred serpent. We're changing direction. That's right, because we're expanding. There's so much to talk about because like this is all coming together. There's so many visions I've had now that are just all coming together as one that I haven't even had time to talk about here at the channel because I'm just getting vision after vision. And oh my goodness, and look what got left in the box. We're coming together through the heart. This is about our thoughts being in alignment with our hearts and acting on it and grounding on it. Grounding it, acting on it and grounding it and manifesting it. We found our way. We found our way through our heart, literally. It's transformation time. Love, light, and healing energy is sent your way to crave it today. I look forward to seeing you again next time when we expand. Until then, you know I am sending it to you, those good healing vibes. We will put this all together. I love you.